Catalyst Church started roughly about 10 months ago, we were very clear that Catalyst Church was going to be a community-focused church. A church that takes the needs of others above the needs of our own. One of our core values is service, and we'll be talking about that today. And when you think about service, it seems like a very humbling thing, and it really is. If you think about it, it really is. I went on vacation when was the vacation? June. I went on vacation in June, and specifically, since we didn't have anybody else to preach or whatever, we scheduled what we call Service Sundays. Service Sundays is a day where we go ahead and we cancel our services, and we're going to have another one on October 30th. We cancel our services and we go out into the community. And our service team got involved, and they had these 5 or 6 different service projects. And I'm on vacation, and I called Sunday morning. Heather Smith was the one who was in charge of it. And I called Heather, and I'm like, man, how many people do we have? How many people do we have that have stopped coming to church and going out into the community? Because before, when our church was only about 10 or 12 people, those 10 or 12 people invited more people. And we ended up having about 30 people on our very first Sunday about 9 months ago. We went out to a place called Ozanam and United Caring Shelter, and we served and served. That was about 30 people when we didn't even have our very first worship service. I called Heather and I said, Heather, our church was about 75 people, and I'm like, okay, we probably have 50 people. I know there's some people that might not be able to come, and I'm going to get to your laughter in a second. And I'm like, okay, our church is 75 people, and you know what? Service is a big, huge part of who we are. It's a huge part, and that will never change. And Heather said, well, right now it is about 9:15, and we have 12 people that have shown up. I'm like, okay. Maybe they thought it was 9:30 that we were going to meet. Not 9 o'clock, 9:30. So I said, Heather, just wait a couple more minutes and then go out and try to figure out what to do with the 12 people. So I called back in probably about 15, 20 minutes and said, how many people do we have? Did we have 50 people show up to serve, to go out in the community, to come early and to go serve? And she's like, we've got 15 people. Woo! Let's just say this. That day on vacation was one of the worst days of vacation for me. Because my heart needs to be your heart, and your heart needs to be my heart, that we should not give a rip about the weather. We should not give a rip about sleeping in. We should not give a rip about anything else other than to serve. So hear me clearly, Catalyst Church. If we have a service project, it's time to serve. 15 people in a church our size is the most depressing thing I've ever experienced. If you did not come to the service project that week, you probably could come up to me and give me a great excuse. A great excuse. And that's all it is, an excuse. Because what I'm about to preach is very important. The importance of serving others. And I'll say this. If you come to Catalyst Church and you don't want to serve, if you want to just rest your booty in a seat, then you can rest your booty somewhere else. Because this church serves. And maybe over time, after you feeling and being a part of what Catalyst Church is, the heartbeat. And let me say this. When I say it's Catalyst Church, it's not only the heartbeat of Catalyst Church. It is the heartbeat of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
So let me say this. When I'm about to preach what Jesus Christ says, it is time for you and I to get out of our comfort zone. Because for the next couple months, it's going to be busy for service. And your life will be amazingly changed because of the people that you have a chance to serve. I know that I can be very, very, very straightforward with things. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. There's other pastors out there that will water down the truth. And I think we need to do something that is extremely important, and that is serving. There's a movie that came out a number of years ago. It's probably one of my most favorite movies. And it was, it's called Pay It Forward. Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Watch this clip for a second, and we'll talk a little bit more about why this is important.
Expect of you.
Nothing.
Nothing. My God, boys and girls, he's absolutely right. Nothing. I mean, here you are, you can't drive, you can't vote, you can't even go to the bathroom without a pass from me. You're stuck right here in the 7th grade. But not forever. Because one day, you'll be free. What if on that day you're free, you're not prepared, you're not ready, and then you look around you and you don't like what the world is? What if the world is just a big disappointment?
We're screwed.
Unless you take the things that you don't like about this world and you flip them upside down, right on their ass. Don't tell your parents I use that word. And you can start that today. This is your assignment. Extra credit. It goes on all year long. Now wait a minute. What's wrong with this? What's the matter? Yes?
It's like so
So what? There must be a word to finish that sentence. Someone help her?
weird, crazy,
Weird. Crazy.
hard, bummer.
Bummer. Hard. How about possible? It's possible. The realm of possibility exists where? In each of you. Here. So you can do it. You can surprise us. It's up to you. Or you can just sit back and let it atrophy. Atrophy. If there is a word you hear that you don't understand, there's a dictionary in the front of the room. Look it up.
1 Peter 4, 9 through 10, it says, offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each one should use whatever gifts he has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. Service is not just lacing on your bootstraps and going out and serving. The whole purpose of serving is that last part of it. It says, administering God's grace in its various forms. We have the opportunity, Catalyst Church, is to administer what Jesus Christ did on the cross through acts of service. And you heard all those legitimate excuses that those boys and girls came up with. It's hard. What other words did you hear? Bummer. And how many of you guys look around and you're like, it's a bummer that there's so much going on and I don't know how to help. You with me? And it's like a bummer. You walk out and you see a homeless person, you're like, bummer. He's a homeless person. Or you go around and you're like, it's a bummer. It's hard. What other words did you hear? Was that? It's weird. Oh, check this out. I'm gonna let you know right now of a service project we're gonna do that is completely weird. You ready for it? You guys are nervous. I like that. Okay. And my wife thinks it's extremely weird, and we don't agree, and I don't care because this is awesome. Okay. Last year, and Nathan, did you come with us to the trash pickup? Okay, you might be the only one that I thought would be. Did you go trash? Okay, Caleb came trash pickup. All right, and Caleb, you can see if I'm telling the truth here. Fall Festival. All right, tens of thousands of people at Fall Festival. Weeks of October 3rd through the 7th. All the churches that are out there, all the nonprofit churches that are out there, are lined up and they're making $10,000 or $20,000 off of people. They're making a profit, okay? They're making a good profit, and good for them. What we're going to do is extremely weird, but it is extremely, I think, the most weird and awesome project that we're going to do. You ready for it? All right. What we're going to do is simply this. We are going to go out and wear our Here to Serve shirts. And we are actually going to, what do you think? Serve. What we are going to do is we're going to take huge trash bags and we're going to walk up and down Fall Fest Street, Franklin Street. And we are going to come up to people, and if they are just done with our hot dog, we're going to say, can I take that from you? And we'll take it from them and throw them away. We'll take their all their Coke and their beer or whatever, and we'll throw it away, and we'll throw it away, and we'll throw it away. I guarantee you, you will be laughed at. But I guarantee you that those laughs are out of almost insecurity. Those laughs will be out of, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? We've had plenty of people, Caleb, if you remember, we had people that looked at us and said, thank you. Thank you for taking my trash, even though there might be a trash can right there. We took it and threw it away. I've had many conversations, and I'm more of a type A personality with this, and we have many conversations with people that would simply say, now, why are you doing this? Let me think. Who should we tell them about? Jesus. We're like, why are you doing this? No, you don't have to tell them about Catalyst. The church will speak for themselves. Tell them, because Jesus served me and I get to serve him. I mean, just simple things like that. How many of you guys think that that is weird? How many of you guys think that that is awesome? Okay, good. I win! Okay. I see if I'm on the couch today. Okay. But listen, it's weird, it's dangerous, it's scary. But it doesn't matter. If you die and you have a relationship with Christ, you're going to go to heaven. If you're laughed at and persecuted because whatever service project you do, no matter if it's weird, scary, it'll get you out of your box. The Bible clearly says, and we'll talk about this in the book of James in a couple of weeks when we talk about James, it says, count it all joy when you are persecuted. I don't know about you, but I want to be laughed at a lot because I want God to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. All right? Got it? All right. So all that to say is we need to pay it forward. The grace of God that has been given to us, the gift of salvation that Jesus Christ gave to us, we get to administer God's grace. We need to go out and we need to say, we love you. I don't care if you smell. I don't care if you're the well-dressed person in the world. We love you, and how can we serve you? And by doing that, we will show and tell people about Jesus Christ in our actions. And here's a terminology that you'll hear a lot. It's called relational evangelism. Relational evangelism. All right, you ready for this? Everybody turn your Bibles to Mark chapter 9. Mark chapter 9. And here are 3 stories about Jesus. And how he faced this same weirdness factor from his own very disciples. By the way, if you do not have a Bible, the yellow Bible's next to it. If you do not have a Bible at home, that is your Bible to keep. Your Bible to keep. All right. Here we go. Mark chapter 9, starting verse 33. You guys ready for this? You guys ready for this? Yes. I know there's not a lot of people here, but you can speak out if you want. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
There you go. Mark chapter 9, verse 33. And then it says, they talk about the disciples of Jesus. By the way, how many disciples were there? No, there were way more, but there are 12 in this story. There's way more than 12, and that's another class in itself. Okay, when they, talk about the 12, came to Capernaum, when he was in the house, he asked them, "What were you arguing about on the road?" Now imagine this, okay. Jesus is who? God, right? Do you think Jesus could read the minds of his disciples?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. But he'll ask an open-ended question because here's Jesus walking forward. People are probably looking at him. So who's Jesus? It's Jesus. His disciples are behind him, and they're all arguing with each other. Sounds like a lot of churches I know that are arguing with each other from inside the church. By the way, let me say this. Gossip does not happen. Arguing doesn't happen. If it does, come see me. That'll be put to shame. Okay. Side note. Okay, here we go. But they kept quiet because on their way they were arguing about who was the what? Greatest. Imagine that. People, sinful people, saying, "I want what is best for me." How many of you guys have ever thought in your life, be honest, my hand's raised up. How many of you guys have ever thought, "I want what is best for me"? Each of you are kind of like the disciples. You're like, "I want to be the greatest." Whether it's a financial thing or whatever else, I want to be the greatest. I want to be the greatest. Sounds like the American goal, doesn't it? Or the American dream. I want to be the greatest. I want to match up with everybody else. I want to be the greatest. And here are the disciples. The ones that we imagine have the halos over their heads, and they already have the eagle wing or the angel wings, and they walk on water and everything. We look at the disciples, and they're just like us, desiring to be the greatest. And they kept quiet because they knew that they were wrong. They knew, and how many of you guys, don't show a hand, just say, how many of you guys have ever said, "I want to be the greatest, but I know I should not be"? Do you agree with me? Yeah. We're all that way. Okay, here we go. Sitting down, okay, so imagine, it's Jesus. He's like, "All right, here we go." Sitting down, Jesus called the 12 and said, and he's like, "Okay, all right, homeboys, come over here. You got to talk. You're arguing about who's going to be the greatest, okay?" And they're like, yeah. Is it me? Okay, and then it says, "If anyone wants to be first, he must be the very last." Okay, so when Jesus spoke, I love Jesus, how he twists things and makes you think about things. So they're sitting there, and they're probably looking at each other. It's like, okay. Did he not get it? Did he not get it that we are the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ? Does he not get it that when Jesus, by the way, they thought that sooner or later Jesus was going to come in Jerusalem, and he was going to be the king of Jerusalem and the whole world. And sooner or later he will be. But not at that point. Then he says, you want to be first, you need to be what? Last. What did you say? Who said very? Very last. Not just you have to be last, you have to be the very last. Alright? Very last. Okay? And a what? Servant of all. You need to serve all. But isn't it difficult sometimes? You see a homeless person walking down the street. You see an old lady crossing the road. You see all of these things that you need to serve. And you're like, well, I have 5 minutes for myself. What can I do with my 5 minutes? Maybe I can pull out my phone and check my Facebook. Or maybe I can call somebody. But to help and to serve, I might get my clothes dirty. You know what? If I go close to somebody, they smell like booze. You know what? He might vomit over me, and I'm not going to do what I want to do. And Jesus is like, hey, if you want to be first, you're going to be last. You have to be a servant to all. Does that mean all, or does that mean only the person that you want to serve? Everyone. All right. And then he takes it to the next step, which I love Jesus. He's a very much a visual guy, kind of like I am. Verse 36. So he's sitting down here, and then he said, he took a little child. All right, pause right there. Children in the Bible are basically scum. All right? They're basically the workforces of the family. The children in the family are servants. They are your slaves. And I can't wait till one day that Madison grows up and she can do my laundry and the dishes and he'll cook the food so I can watch my TV. It'll be great. And then when Ethan gets old enough, he's going to mow my grass. And this is dreams. So here, that's kind of how they thought. Even for the they're like in a stroller or something. They didn't have strollers. They're like, man, take this, and there's some gravel there. Baby, pick it up. You're my slave. You're my slave. And that's honestly how they thought of children. The girls, children, they were to take care of the house. The boys are going to join daddy and serve and make some money for the family. All right, so they are just slaves. All right. So here is Jesus. He said he took a little child and had him stand among them, taking him in the arms. In other words, he is holding this child. Holding and loving this child. And he said in verse 37, whoever welcomes one of these little children in my name welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me does not welcome me. Oh, sorry. And whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but the one who sent me, which is God. By the way, that's the greatest commercial in the world. If you want to work with children, see Jamie afterwards. We need children's workers. All right, good. All right, Jamie?
Yep.
All right, good. All right, if you want to work with children, Jesus even said, love the little children, but that's not what he's necessarily needing. He's like, love and serve the ones who are the low. Got it? All right. So here they are. Oh, by the way, there was there's a song that I learned. It's called "Salty the Songbook." It was old. Anybody heard of Salty the Songbook? Awesome! I'm not alone. Okay, Salty the Songbook was was production and CD that actually had little tapes or like 8 tracks and everything. And they had all these old school things. And it was a songbook, an old school hymnal type of thing. And the character could wear it. He's dressed up in all blue and the book out the back and everything. And I was in the production of one of the Salty the Songbook things. And I was a mouse. I was a church mouse. It was awesome. I had like the little mouse ears and no, that's not ears, but mouse whiskers and all this stuff. And the song that I led was a song that I cannot get out of my mind today. And it simply says, okay, I'm going to sing. Okay, so.
Is your place right there?
Yeah. If you want to be great in God's kingdom. And I thought it was a mousy thing. So let's try it again. If you want to be great in God's kingdom. And then it says, you got to be a servant to all. That is still in my mind. I could sing that, and I think that was there on purpose so that I can know if I want to be great in God's kingdom, I need to be a servant to all. That's what Jesus wants us to do. All right, turn over to Mark chapter 10. Right a page over. So we're flipping one page over, so this might be days or it could be a week later on. Okay? So this was just very recently. So we flip over a page, and here we go. Mark chapter 10 and verse 41. All right? You with me? Mark chapter 10 and verse 41. When the 10 heard about this. Now, what is this? Okay? What ended up happening is James and John, the sons of, anybody get it? Zebedee. Okay, all right, here's the Bible story. James and John were the sons of who? Say Zebedee. All right, now you know a biblical character. James and John, the sons of Zebedee. Basically, they were really close to Jesus. They were part of the inner core, if you want to say, of Jesus' posse. So here's James and John, brothers. And in one passage, it says that the mother actually talked to Jesus about this. And this passage is James and John. So both the mother and James and John talked to Jesus about this. And the question that James and John asked was this: when you, Jesus, become king, can one of us sit on your right and can one of us sit on your left? In other words, what he's saying, what they were asking is to be the greatest of all. Because nobody else could sit on the right or to the left other than the best of the best, the cream of the crop, those who are the what? Greatest. Okay? So they are asking. And all of a sudden, the disciples, who a chapter before, weeks before, basically said, Jesus said, if you want to be great in God's kingdom, you have to be a what? Servant to all. But James and John, I think, are deaf. Because here they are, talking to each other, and they come to Jesus and say, check it out, Jesus. When you're king, hook us up with the most perfect place. Let us be your right and left-hand man. And this is what Jesus said. When the 10 heard this, basically they're ticked off at James and John, they became indignant with James and John. Jesus called them together and said, you know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentiles lord over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Now listen to this, verse 43. Not so with you. In other words, it's like you're not going to lord over anybody. You're not going to be that big shot. It says, not that for you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servants. And whoever wants to be first must be a what to all? Slave to all. And I'm not going to dig into that word slave because in 2 weeks when we start our James Bond series, we're going to go through a 10-week series on the book of James, and that is week number 1. So I can't give that away too quickly. All right, here, verse 45 is crucial. For even the Son of Man. Okay, let's pause right there. Jesus is who? Son of God. He is God. He is the form of God in human form. And could Jesus immediately said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm gone. I'm out of here and I'm going back to my paradise. I'm going to go up to heaven where there's golden streets, where there's pearly stuff, and everybody is singing praise to me. Could Jesus have come down with his positive angels and his whole realm of heaven and come down and says, this is pathetic. I don't want to die, but I'm going to come here to earth, be born in a poopy manger, and I'm going to be born in a poopy manger, and then at that time, I'm going to go ahead and be raised by a carpenter who was not a very rich person, and then I'm going to walk with sandals, and I'm going to have dirty clothes, and I'm going to have all these nasty things happen to me, and I'm going to die for these imperfect, nasty, sinning people. Could Jesus have said, I want you to serve me? Could he? Absolutely he could have. He could have done whatever he wanted to because he is God. But, verse 45 says, for even the Son of Man, God, did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. Jesus Christ did not come to be served, but to serve. So who do we think we are to want to be served? One of my biggest, and I struggle with this daily, whenever I go out to eat when there's a server. And Rachel's worked on me really, really hard. And this is confession time, so here's the confession booth, and I'm talking to you guys. I'm the worst tipper in the world. Any bad tippers in the room? Oh, be honest. How many bad tippers are in the room? All right. How many really good tippers are in the room? You are liars. But okay, all right. That's only worse now. Okay. So here's a tipper, and I have a scale that I'm trying to throw out the door. All right. So here I am. I'm praying. If I'm talking to someone, I'm praying, and then I'm very kind to the waitress, and I've got this routine now that sometimes I talk to the waitress or waiter and say, is there anything we can pray for and everything? So I'm telling them that I am a Christ follower by doing so, correct? Yes. But if they don't serve me correctly, they get $1. If they do medium, they get $2. And if they do really good, no matter if it's a $100 meal, which Lord help me, that'd be awesome, they get $3. I'm a good tipper. Not really. Yeah, forget to calculator. Okay, all that to say is, I'm being honest with you, that is one thing that I'm not very good at serving because I want them to serve me well. I'm paying for their tip, I'm paying for their supplies, I'm paying for them. And how many of you guys have ever worked in the food service before? You guys are awesome, by the way. So I have flipped and I'm getting better because when they come, I don't want to plunk out my dollar bills to give to them, but then I look at this verse and it says, hey, I need to actually be serving that person. What I really should do is I should sit them down and say, I've ordered a T-bone steak with a potato and a salad, and I want you to sit down. May I go to the back and serve you? And by the way, I'm going to leave you a $10 tip for sitting down there and eating my meal. That is what it should look like. And shame on me for not doing that like I should. And trust me, here it is. If you ever go out to eat with me and I don't do that, I should not even said that, but stop the camera right now! Okay, no. But honestly, I need to work on that. I need to work on that nice and heavy. All right, and then there's the last verse, and I'll just go through it. It's in Matthew 25. It basically says this. When the Son of Man comes back in all of his glory, he is going to reign over the earth. This means when Jesus comes back, when he does come back, and he is coming back, when he comes back in his throne and his glory, he's going to divide the Christians and the non-Christians apart. One will be sheep, one will be goat, and they'll be split to the sides. And he's going to look to those who are Christ followers. And the result of being a Christ follower is a desire to serve others. That is part of the fruits of the Spirit. It's going out of your way to serve and to give back. So he's going to look at the Christians, the Christ followers. Let me say that. Not just Christian, Christ followers. And since we're supposed to follow Christ, we're supposed to serve others. So we're going to look at the Christ followers. Jesus will look at the Christ followers and said, thank you for taking care of me when I was homeless. Thank you for taking care of me when I was hungry. Thank you for taking care of me when I was in prison. Thank you for taking me into your house and taking care of me. Thank you for serving me in this capacity. And the Christians or the Christ followers will look at him, the King, and said, when did we serve you? You've been up in your paradise. You've been up in heaven. We have not actually seen you. And Jesus would look at them, and let me see the very last, let me see if I can find it. He will look at them and said, and the King will reply, I tell you the truth. Whatever you did for one of the least of these, you did it for me. So ladies and gentlemen, Catalyst Church is a service-focused church. And I came across this because Jesus wants us to be. Not just because Dave wants you to be, but do you agree with me that something, if you are a true Christ follower, something inside of you just wants to, I want to serve, but I don't know how to serve. Are you with me? It's inside of us if we're truly a Christ follower. Check this out. I came across this, and I'm a missionary kid, as well as I guess I'm a missionary here at Catalyst Church and so on and so forth. So I get all these mission updates that come through, and this is one city that I found that we could actually adopt for ourselves, type of thing, as Catalyst Church. This city roughly has about 30,000 people, so it's a large city for the area that it's in. 86% of the population are lost. So they don't know Jesus, or they don't go to church. Most of the followers of that other percent follow other religions of some sort. It's one of the highest per capita homeless populations around the area. They've got some strongholds, they said. They have satanic worship that goes around. They have major addictions. They're major addicted to drugs and alcohol. Basically, they have all these strongholds that are upon them. They have extreme poverty in the area, extremely high divorce rates. The suicide rates continue to go higher and higher and higher in everywhere they are. And children are left homeless and left on the side of the street to be taken care of. I don't know about you, but when I heard this, I want to be like, I want to help. So what do you think from what I just told you? Does this sound like a city that you want to be a part of helping? Okay, thank you, only Randy. How many of you guys say, you know what, just from that little bit, I want to help this city. I want to serve that city. You know what that city is? Evansville, Indiana. Evansville, Indiana. 300,000 people, poverty-stricken, need Jesus. And we decide to sit on our butts and do what we want to do. If you come to Catalyst Church, that ain't going to be the case. You with me? All right. So what are some practical things? You're like, Dave, let's do it. Here's some practical things. And write these down. These are in your notes. All right. I'll try to keep these quick. But the very first one is really, I think, one of the most important ones. There's 3 types of service that I've come up with. 3 types of service. The first one is called spontaneous servanthood. Spontaneous servanthood. Here's a story, and I'll kind of illustrate this. What story should I tell? I'll start the McDonald's story. Okay. So I'm driving around right near the McDonald's, right up the street here. I'm driving around this curve, and there was a kind of a homeless man. He had earphones on and everything. And he was walking around, and you might have heard this story, but he was walking around the corner, and it was where, what's that gym there? Bob's Gym? So I'm stopping there at Bob's Gym, and I'm taking a right. And inside of me, I know that God was saying, go talk to the guy. I'm like, God, you have no idea. I think I was even late to see Rachel. By the way, I'm late. Was that? I was probably so late. So here I am. I'm on the way, and I'm like, God, not now. You know what? It's me time. I want to go see my sexy wife and my children and all this stuff. I want to go home. Plus, I don't want to be in the doghouse because if I'm late, no, she's not that bad. Just that bad. But if I'm late, then it'll be cold and everything like that. So I'm like, okay, God. So I flip. By the way, this is not to tap me on the back. This is just an idea of spontaneous acts of service. So I turned the car around, pulled up next to the guy who had just happened to bend down and tie his shoe in the only place that I could pull in and talk to him. There's no happen to. God made his shoelaces fall off, and I had to go talk to him. So here I am, bending down, and he's tying his shoe, and I rolled down to my window, and I said, Sir, I just felt like coming over to you and seeing if there's anything you need. And he's like, Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, do you need anything? I'm like, maybe he doesn't. Maybe the communication between God and me got distracted, and maybe he doesn't need anything. But then he said, I have honestly not eaten in 3 days. I am really hungry. I said, okay, all right. So I'm praying in the back of my mind. It's like, God, what should I do? Okay, I've got $5 in my back pocket. I can give it to him. I've got a couple quarters. Maybe that'll just get him through for a little bit. And then God just said, take him to McDonald's. I'm like, God, I am in a hurry. Please, just no. And then I'm like, how about this? Jump in the car, I'll take him to McDonald's. And he jumps in the car, I took him to McDonald's, and I bought him almost like $12 or $13 worth of food. That has special 50 cents for the apple pies. I'm like, give him like 10 apple pies and all this stuff. I got an application for him and all this stuff. And I sat him down, and I had a chance to pray with them and talk to them, and it was great. So I left, and I'm like, attaboy, Dave. And really, God convicted me at that time. It's like, not attaboy, Dave. You did the bare minimum of what you should have done. I gave my business card as well, and not even, who was here for Starting Point that day when you actually saw him come in? He came in, needed more food, came to this building, and we gave him food from our food pantry. It's building a relationship with people, and that gives me goosebumps and excitement, because all we have to do is spontaneously look around and be obedient to what God has called us to do, and by doing so, we will have the opportunity to serve others, even though it might be somebody on the side of the street holding a sign that says homeless. What is the automatic thinking that you guys have? A homeless person on the side of the street holding a sign needing money. What is you thinking? He's a hustler. He's going to buy booze. He's going to buy... If God tells you to do so, suck it up. Give your money. If he goes to buy booze, that's between him and God. But you were obedient in what you were supposed to do.
Amen.
It doesn't have to be a homeless person. It could be anything. It could be an old lady crossing the road. Or it could be a college student that has a handful of groceries that need help to their car. If God asks you to do it, serve spontaneously. Got it? All right? Pray for opportunities. Daily open your eyes for needs. Listen to God and do what he says. Have what's called flex time. Something I'm not very good at. Something I'm working on. 15 minutes of your time. If you're going to an appointment, it's better to arrive 15 minutes early to an appointment and sit there and read your Bible and go to an appointment early, so that gives you 15 minutes to do a God thing during the 15 minutes. Make sense? Instead of watching the boob tube. Got it? All right, here we go. Drive a different... Go back. Drive a different way to home. Check it out. If you go the same way every time, maybe God says, hey, I'm going to take a detour. Just do it. And obey. Obey. All right, next one. This one is intentional. In other words, maybe God lays on your heart that you need to intentionally start a ministry or a program. This is outside the church. This is your own. The very first, the third one down says, not just planned by Catalyst Church. Pet peeve. You ready for my pet peeve? Most of you wait until Dave or the service team comes up with projects and then you say, let's go for it. Intentional means this. You come up with your own projects outside of Catalyst Church so that you have an opportunity to be involved and to purpose to tell and show others about Jesus. Ideas. Look around for places to serve. You don't have to go to a homeless shelter. You don't have to, but be intentional. It's spontaneous, yes. But maybe this day, Rachel and I tried to do this the last Thanksgiving. Is we were intentionally on Thanksgiving, we were going to take our children to a homeless shelter, or no, I think it was an outreach thing. We went intentionally, and we said we're going to intentionally take our children to a service project. On Christmas, intentionally do something. Tomorrow, intentionally do something. Get your family involved and start a movement. You have the permission from God to do something great. Don't come to me. Do it. Because God tells you to do it. Be intentional, spontaneous, but then intentional, see the needs, and do something about it. You with me?
Amen.
All right. Then the last one is one that we all probably do, and this is organizational, which means this: if an organization is doing something, do it. Be a part. It doesn't have to be Catalyst. There is great, even non-Christian groups. Christian groups that are doing some amazing things. Kind of a preview for next school year is this. I sat down with the pastor Tyrone Edwards. Is that his name? Edwards, last name? Tyrone Edwards from First Baptist Church. Forest Hills Baptist Church, right up the road from us. Sat down with him and Gene Bacchus, and we're tag teaming with different things. Great guys. But with Tyrone, I sat down with him, and he told me about his massive back-to-school backpack campaign that he's been doing for years. And he looked at me and said, we need help. And I said, when can we help? I didn't even have to think. If he needed help, we're there to help. So next year, we're going to go serve alongside of another church. Not to proclaim Catalyst Church, but to proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ in our actions.
Amen.
Are you with me? All right? So organizational, community involvement. Find a place to get involved. Here at Catalyst Church, we encourage you to do two things. One, find a small group to be involved with, and we'll be talking about that next week. Small group to be involved with, and find a service project outside the doors of our church to be involved with, as well as find a service area within our church, and those guys who come to Connection Point will find out more about that later on. Partner with service events and Catalyst Church planned events. Everybody take your worship guide out real quick. You probably already have it, so some of you guys might be taking notes. I see the people who aren't taking notes because you just looked down for your service for this. Okay, all right. October the 3rd through the 7th, this is what Catalyst Church is going to do. From the 3rd to the 7th, we are going to do trash pickup and surveys. Well, the way it's going to work is we're going to pick up trash. And continue to pick up trash. And continue to pick up trash. It's on their thing right there. All right. Okay. Somebody hook them up with one of those things. All right. October, we're going to do that 3rd through the 7th. And what did he said? What's the last word in there? There's surveys that are going to be done. What we're going to do is we're going to break down the ice by picking up trash, and then we're going to have another team behind it asking people 5-question surveys about their spiritual life. In other words, if you even believe in God, we might have opportunities to share Christ with others during those surveys. All right, you with me? All right, so mark that date down. October 30th is Service Sunday, and we will not have church. We will not have church service. Now, let me pause and say this. If I decide to go on vacation, show up! Okay? Which I'm not going on vacation because I want to do this. But, alright? Just show up. Plan it. How many of you guys can, in the testimony between God and me and everybody said, I don't care what I'm doing October 30th, but I'm going to come here October 30th and I'm going to go surf. Alright? God's looking at you. Okay. Alright. October 31st, we're going to be having a trunk or treat. Trunk or treat. And do this spell again? Alright. It's trunk, not truck. Trunk or treat and a chili cook-off. What we're doing is we're partnering with 2 other churches, Gene Fox's church, which is St. James West, and we're partnering with Tyrone's church, and they're going to come out here. We're going to have a massive trunk or treat. You guys get to deck out your vehicles, have games for the kids. We're going to have blow-ups, kind of like another block party with free candy and everything like that. So, were you with me on that? Okay. And by the way, it's not Catalyst Church. It's the Kingdom of God churches that are around. If they believe in Jesus Christ and what He did on the cross, no matter if they might believe something a little bit differently, the church in general is what we are. And I don't care. Hear me clearly. We will unite with other churches because we are on the same team.
Amen.
If you leave this church because you don't like the way we do things, go to one of those churches because they're a Bible-believing church. And I will walk you in the door and say, here's Tyrone, and I will introduce you to him as long as you're going to church. It does not have to be Catalyst Church. Okay, all right? And we're having chili cook-off. The chili cook-off, simply you bring the chili, we'll eat the chili and judge it. Okay. All right, in November, this is something huge, huge, huge. When Catalyst Church, and I know I'm running out of time, when Catalyst Church first started, we had... Nathan, how many people did we have when we did Operation Christmas Child? We had probably like 7 people, right? 6 or 7. We had 6 or 7 people. We tapped into any money that we had, and we bought 400 plastic shoe boxes. We stuffed it with information for our church, Operation Christmas Child, and what Operation Christmas Child is this. People get to pack boxes filled with toys and stuff like that, and just toys and clothing and stuff like that, whatever can fit into a little shoebox. And what happens is they'll drop it off at a drop-off location. By the way, this year, Catalyst Church is the official drop-off location for the entire West Side. Okay. Woo, Jesus. Okay, all right. So we take the boxes, we send them off, and those boxes end up going up to third world countries and to give kids Christmas gifts this year. And that's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it gets so much better. I found out their whole program. They take the boxes and advertise the community, and they say, community, come, we're going to give you the boxes, and at the same time, we will share the gospel of Jesus Christ to those children before they even get their box. So in other words, thousands of kids share Jesus Christ, and then at that time, take them through a 12-week discipleship class, and at the end, they get a whole Bible. I don't know about you, but through a little box, that's awesome. All right? So Operation Christmas Child is something that we're going to be doing. So we had 400 boxes last year. We passed them out in the community. Fox News came and did an article on us. It was great. But we had 400 boxes. 250 came back, which is a great return. This year, our personal goal is 1,200 boxes. We're partnering with the other churches that they're going to do the others. So now we have 2,000 boxes from the west side going out to 2,000 children to let them hear about Jesus Christ, as well as to get a Christmas gift and to let them know that we care for them. And so does Jesus. What do you think? So Catalyst Church has their things. set up. By the way, we have a service team meeting, or service team. See Heather if you're interested in the service team. But listen, I want you to listen very carefully to me. We have our projects. Do not wait for those dates. You go serve this week. You go be Jesus to these people. Now let me pause and say this. If you do not know Jesus, your life is not where it needs to be. Jesus Christ came. He died for you and for me. He sacrificed to seek and to save those which were lost. He gave His life a ransom for many so that you and all of us can have a relationship with Jesus Christ. If you do not have a relationship with Jesus Christ, today can be that day. You simply have to believe and have faith that Jesus Christ came from His heavenly glory to earth to bridge the gap of sin, to forgive you of all your sin, so that you can have a relationship with God the Father and with the desire to serve and to do what is right. Today can be that day. Do me a favor. Everybody, bow your head and close your eyes. Just bow your head and close your eyes. We talk about service a lot, but this is the most important part of the service. If you do not know Jesus Christ, your life is not the same. You need to have that relationship with Him. So let me ask you this. Do you desire a relationship with Him? If you do, I want to encourage you to go ahead and pray this prayer. In your heart, in your mind, pray this prayer and really mean it. It's not the words that will save you, but it's the heart desire. Say, Dear Jesus, I'm a sinner. In your heart, to say, Dear Jesus, I'm a sinner. He already knows that you are. They go ahead and address Him and say, Jesus, thank you for dying on the cross for my sins. I believe you came, you died, and you rose again. Forgive me of my sins. And help me live for you. If you pray that and you really, really, really meant it for the very first time, with nobody looking around, if you prayed that, just raise your hand if you prayed that prayer for the very first time. Fantastic. Anybody else? Great. If you prayed that prayer and you meant it on the back of your connection cards, just check mark on the back, beginning a relationship with Christ. Now for everyone else. We're going to sing a song. And while you guys are sitting there, I want to encourage you to pray and talk to God about serving. Because imagine this. Imagine if we would all be spontaneous in the service opportunities that come our way. Imagine if we would all be intentional about finding someone to serve. Maybe your next door neighbor, maybe someone across the street, but be intentional. Imagine if we would all partner with organizations, even though it might not work into your caliber. Partner with other people. The result of that is that we will be the church and not just do church. So maybe you need to come up front as a testimony to God. You need to bow your head and close your eyes down here and say, God, I have not served. I have not served here at Catalyst. I have not served outside the doors. I know who I am supposed to serve today. So this time is yours to talk to God about your attitude, your heart of service.